On that morning the hill was quiet when he arrived. By midday 300 men were dead on it. Tiberius was the first. 133 BC. The Capitoline. This is Roman Knights. We go back. We listen. We stay a while. That morning. He is a tribune of the people. He is trying to stay one. The Capitoline Hill before sunrise. Chapter 1. The Hill before light. The Capitoline Hill holds the cold differently from the Forum. Higher up. The city below still dark. The river a darker line. In the dark. The smell of stone and night air and whatever the wind carries up from the valley. It reaches the top before the light does. Tiberius is already here. He counts the exits. This is his habit in any open space where votes are taken. He learned it at Numantia. In the camps you found the exits before anything started. You did this the way. You checked your water and your boots. Before anything. Before you needed it. He counts 3 today. 2 on the lower path. 1 behind the Temple of Jupiter, narrow between the columns and the wall. 3. He files this away. No tribune has sought a second consecutive term. That is the custom, not the law. He looked for the law. He read the relevant text, the provisions going back 200 years. He asked Scaevola. He asked Crassus. There is no law against it. The difference matters to him. The difference between custom and law is the difference between what people expect and what is actually required. He knows that most people do not make this distinction. He cannot stop making it. He needs 1 more year. The commission is working. Crassus has corrected the measurements twice. The surveyors are in Etruria, now walking the old boundary lines with new ropes. In 300 iugera of disputed land in the Tiber Valley, the markers are being replanted. The law is becoming something in the ground. 1 more year and the work is too far along to undo. He wrote this argument down 4 times. He always writes an argument down when he needs to know if it holds. You can hold almost any argument in your head. When you write it, you can see where it is thinner than it felt. It does not change. The argument is correct. He has always been good at arithmetic. Correct arithmetic does not always mean what you want it to mean. They will say afterward that what he did had never been done before. They will be right. No tribune had sought a second term. In living memory, the custom went back further than most men could name. He filed his candidacy anyway. He talked to Appius first. Appius said yes without hesitation. He said, the work needs more time. Continuity is what keeps a law from being an intention. He talked to Crassus. Crassus read the argument. He said, the commission cannot be replaced mid-survey. A gap in the commission is a gap in the record. The record is the law. He talked to his wife. She listened. She listened all the way through. The way she listened when she had already formed a view, checking whether what she heard changed it. When he finished, she looked at the fire for a moment. She said, have you talked to Gaius? Gaius was in Sardinia. He filed without talking to Gaius. The morning after he filed, the forum was quieter than usual. When he walked through it, not hostile, something more careful than hostile. The quality of attention people pay when they have not yet finished deciding whether something is acceptable. He walked through it. He nodded to the men he knew. He kept going. The hill is different from the forum. The forum is built for argument. It is built for voices and the echo of voices and the press of people who have things to say. The Capitoline is built for decisions. You can feel this in the stone, in the way the wind comes from below, in the silence before anything starts. He has voted on this hill before, as a young man watching his father. Later as tribune watching other men. He knows where to stand. He knows how the sound carries. He knows which way to turn when you want the crowd to hear you. He also knows that knowing these things is not the same as controlling them. He arrived before dawn because he wanted the hill to himself. For a little while. He has done this before difficult days. Before the vote on Octavius. Before his first reading of the land law. Before Numantia, once when he walked the perimeter of the camp. In the dark. The hill does not give advice. It is just older than anyone who stands on it. He has always found this useful. On the road up, a man called out his name. An old man near the water cellars. A lean face, sun-damaged. The particular posture of a man who has spent most of his life carrying things. His hands were the hands of that kind of man. Tiberius stopped. Numantia. 21 years ago. This man had been a water carrier. On a march that went wrong. The column had lost its way in the heat on a bad road with inadequate supplies. Men were sitting down on the roadside. Not from cowardice. From the simple fact. A man carrying weight in that heat long enough reaches a point where his legs decide. This man had not sat down. He had kept going. He had not said anything about it. No announcement. No appeal for recognition. He had just kept going. In the heat with the weight on the bad road. He had done this because the column needed water and he was the one who had it. That was all. A very small thing. Most men would not have remembered it. Tiberius said the name. Lucius. The man's face changed. He had not expected it. He was a man. In a crowd on a morning he thought was ordinary. He had not thought someone like Tiberius would stop for someone like him. Not that the stopping was unkind. He had stopped many times. For many people. The surprise was the name. After 21 years. Tiberius nodded and walked on. 5 seconds. Maybe 6. He had not been able to stop doing this since he was a boy. His mother had told him once. A name remembered is a small gift. Costs nothing. Lands differently from everything else. He had not thought about it much after that. He had just done it. Since then he had never stopped. He went up. The hill fills slowly. His supporters arrive in groups. Men from the countryside who came into the city for this morning. Men from the Suburra who have been following the commission's work since spring. Old soldiers, whose service record he knows by name. Small farmers who received their 30 iudra 6 weeks ago and are farming it now. They nod to him as they pass. He nods back. He knows some of their names. He learned them. The way he learned all names. By paying attention. By asking once. And remembering. He does not know all of them. He will know more of them before this morning is over. He does not know that yet. The grain sellers are not here today. They have not been here since the day the veto was removed. They appear on ordinary days. They disappear on days that are not ordinary. They understand this before anyone else does. From the temple steps he can see down the Capitoline road. A group of men moving up from the direction of the Senate House. Moving with purpose. Senators do not usually move with purpose. In the morning, he recognizes the man at the front. Tall. Toga pulled up at the shoulder in the formal arrangement. Of a man acting in sacred capacity. A man who intends to be understood as acting in sacred capacity. Scipio Nasica. Pontifex Maximus. The highest religious office. In Rome. His cousin. They have known each other since they were children. Tiberius knows the way Scipio Nasica walks when he has decided something. He is walking that way now. The walk of a man who has arrived at certainty and is bringing it somewhere. He does not move from the steps. The city below continues its mourning. Iron on stone. The first. Carts. The river. He has 3 exits. Chapter 2. The Senate's answer. The assembly begins. The herald reads the procedures. Tribal voting. Standard form. Standard words. The mourning is not standard. Tiberius's men stand close to him. Some of them are nervous. You can tell by the way they are not moving. Nervous men in a crowd have a specific stillness. They are not calm still. They are held breath still. He watches the road. Scipio Nasica stops at the edge of the assembly ground. He calls on all men who value the republic to follow him. He says this in a voice that carries. His toga is up at the shoulder. This is the form when a man speaks in his sacred office. When the Pontifex Maximus speaks in that form, something in the crowd registers it. Even people who do not believe in the office believe in the form. Some part of the crowd stops moving. He says, Tiberius Gracchus has given the signal of a man who Once a crown. He touched his head. That is the sign of a king. Receiving the diadem. I saw it. We all saw it. The statement moves through the crowd fast. Tiberius had touched his head. He was touching it when he saw Nasica coming. He had raised his hand to signal his supporters. The signal means I am in danger. Come to me now. He has used it before. He learned it in the camps. It has always meant what it means. In a crowd this large, meaning is not the only thing that travels. He does not try to explain from where he stands. He knows what explanation looks like in a crowd that has already received a different story. It looks like a man defending himself. A man who is defending himself in public appears to need defense. He does not think about this for long. There is no time. Scipio Nasica is not lying. This is the part that matters most, and will be examined least. He is not a man who decided to say something false to achieve a result. He genuinely saw it that way. He had been told his whole life that the Republic was fragile, that certain men sought certain things, that a tribune who broke the Senate's rules might want more than he said he wanted. He saw a hand go to a head at a moment of confrontation. He made a connection that was not there. He will spend the rest of his life making sense of it. He will go into exile before the year ends. He will not know it is permanent when he leaves. He will die in a foreign city. He will always believe he was right. He will be right about saving the Republic. He will be wrong about everything else. The men behind Scipio Nasica have no weapons. Weapons are not permitted inside the city walls. Soldiers are not permitted inside the city. These are senators and their clients and their clients. Clients. Men who received a message this morning and came. They went to the Senate House before coming up the hill. They broke up the wooden benches and chairs. Pieces of old furniture. The Senate has been sitting on for a generation. Long chair backs. Bench legs. Pieces that fit in a hand. This is what the defense of the Republic looks like today. The first group pushes into the crowd from the lower path. There is shouting. Then a different kind of sound. The sound that does not resolve back into argument. Tiberius's men try to hold the edge. They have nothing in their hands. You do not bring weapons to an assembly vote. He told them this himself. Specifically, he told them, we are going to a vote, not a battle. He watches the exits. The lower path on the left is behind the men coming up. The lower path on the right is filling. He watches the crowd move. He has seen crowds move before. In Spain. In the Spanish cities. Before the war. There is a specific thing that happens when a crowd decides. It stops being a collection of people making individual decisions. It becomes one thing moving. He looks for the upper exit. Between the columns and the wall. The narrow passage. He counted it this morning. A group from the Senate House has found it. They are already there. He has 3 exits. They are all behind men with broken chairs. He has never counted 3 exits and found all 3 blocked. He thinks, I counted them this morning. He thinks, 3 exits. He thinks, the passage between the shrines. He looks. There are men there already. He thinks about the forum below. He has spent 3 months in the forum. He knows the forum the way you know a place you have been in every kind of weather. He knows the morning forum. He knows the evening forum. He knows the forum full of people and the forum almost empty. He stands at the top of the Capitoline and thinks about the forum below. He thinks about the man from Etruria in the worn cloak. The man whose name he does not know. He thinks about the land. Not the law. The land itself. The road through Etruria. The farms visible from the road. The names the women at the wells told him. He thinks the count was right. He thinks the law was right. He thinks the commission is still working. He presses his thumb joint. The crowd is moving. He looks for a way through. There is no way through. He turns and looks at the hill. The same hill he has walked up every morning for months. The same stones. The same morning light. Something is different anyway. He presses his thumb joint. Chapter 3, the third exit. He reaches the temple steps. The passage behind the temple is 1 man wide. He can see it. He cannot reach it. Between him and the passage, men with broken He stops. He has been training for something like this since he was 17. Every camp, every march, every position before engagement. You count the exits before you need them. You count them when the space is empty and the light is good and you have time to be correct. He counted 3 this morning. He was correct. He counted 3 and there are 3. The information is accurate. He was wrong about what accurate information would do for him. He looks at the upper passage. One man is standing in it. Just one. He is holding a broken chair back in both hands. A flat piece of wood wider than it is long. The kind of thing you could put both hands on and swing. The man looks at him. Tiberius looks at the man. Neither of them moves. He thinks, this man has something in his hands. I have nothing in mine. This is correct arithmetic. He looks at the crowd behind him. His men are trying to hold. Most of them have nothing in their hands either. He told them to come to a vote. He was right to tell them this. He was also wrong in a way he is understanding now. He touches his head. The signal. The camp signal. Come to me now. I need help now. He has used it before. At Numantia. In the camps. It has always meant what he meant it to mean. Behind him, from somewhere in the crowd below, a voice repeats what Nasica said. He is asking for a crown. Another voice. Then more. The words move through the crowd the way a different kind of information moves. Fast and without. Requiring confirmation. By the time he hears it the 3rd time, it has already traveled too far to call back. He understands what has happened. He cannot explain it from where he stands. There is no time for explanation. No space for it. No crowd waiting for one. This is not the forum. In the morning. This is the Capitoline at midday with 300 men who came up from the Senate House. He has 40 seconds. He will know this later from the accounts of people who were watching. They counted the time between the moment he touched his head and the first blow. 40 seconds. He spends 20 of them looking for a path through. There is a gap. He moves toward it. The gap closes. He stops. He finds another. He moves. It closes. He spends 10 seconds with the gap closed, standing still. He thinks about the commission. Crassus checking the numbers. The surveyors in Etruria with the new ropes. The old measurements being replaced. He thinks about the 30 iugera that have already been distributed. The families on them. Whether they know about this morning. He thinks about his wife, who knew something was wrong and did not say what she knew because she is that kind of person. He thinks about Gaius, who is in Sardinia, who does not know. He spends the last 10 seconds looking at the man in the passage. The man has not moved. He is holding the chair back. He's watching. He is waiting for a decision to have been made so he can respond to it. Tiberius is 30 years old on the Capitoline Hill in October. He has been a tribune for 11 months. He passed a law. He passed it through the assembly, passed the Senate in a way no one had done before. He removed a tribune from office. That had also not been done. He filed for a 2nd term. That had not been done. He did all of these things because the arithmetic required them. He was good at arithmetic. He was right about the arithmetic. He is standing here. He realizes something in the last moment before the blow. Something he had understood theoretically for months and is now understanding in his body. When he removed Octavius from office, he told himself, I am not doing this because he disagrees with me. I am doing this because the office exists to serve the people. He is using the office against them. He told himself this. He believed it. He is standing here because someone told himself the same thing about Tiberius, and also believed it. Both of them went first. Neither of them could stop the other. This is what a republic looks like. 2 men with the same logic. Different conclusions about who is defending it. He does not have time to finish the thought. He thinks about the commission. The commission is still working. Appius is still at the table. The surveyors are still in the fields. The land is still there. He thinks, the commission will continue without me. He thinks, the work was always bigger than me. He thinks, the work was always the point. He had said this to his wife. He had said, "The tribune is not the law. The law is the law." She had looked at him. She knew what he meant. She also knew that the law did not exist without someone willing to stand at the rostra and read it. He thinks about his wife. He thinks about what she is doing this morning. It is morning. She is in the house on the Palatine. He thinks she will know by evening. He thinks she will not cry in front of the servants. He thinks about Gaius. Gaius is in Sardinia. He will receive a letter. He will sit very still when he reads it. He will arrange passage home. He will come home. He will sit at the desk. He thinks Gaius will know what to do. He does not know what Gaius will do. He knows Gaius will know. He thinks the work continues. The passage is still blocked. The crowd is still moving. He thinks, I counted 3 exits this morning. He thinks the count was right. He presses his thumb joint. The blow comes from behind. He does not see it coming. He does not know the man who delivers it. 2 names will appear. In accounts of this day, you will not know either of them. That is not the kind of thing you know at the end. The stones of the Capitoline Hill are cold. He is on the ground. He does not get up. Chapter 4, October. The hill is quiet again by mid-afternoon. 317 men. That is the number in one account. Other accounts say more. This is the kind of event. People count differently depending on where they were standing. The bodies are taken to the Tiber that night. No burial ceremony. No family gathering. No formal process. The river is running fast from recent rain. It takes them south. Tiberius goes into it like everyone else. The man who saved 20,000 soldiers at Numantia. The man who passed the first land reform in a generation. He goes into the Tiber on a night in October the same as everyone else on the hill today. The river does not distinguish. The Senate meets within the week. His name is not used in the formal record. Not in the speeches. Not in the official account. He is referred to as the tribune who sought re-election. The man on the hill. The incident. The day in October. These are the phrases that appear. There are men in that session who voted for the land law. Agreed with the commission. Who believed the arithmetic was correct. They sit in the chamber and listen to the session. That does not use his name. They say nothing. This is not cowardice exactly. It is the specific calculation that men make when they want to survive long enough to be useful later. Whether this calculation is ever correct is a different question. They believe it is. They make it. The session ends. They go home. This is how it works. This is always how it works. Scipio Nasica leaves Rome within 3 months. He is sent to Asia Minor. Official business. A diplomatic posting. He accepts it. He does not know when he accepts it that he will not come back. He does not know he is being moved out of a city that has become uncomfortable with what he did. He believes he is right. He will die believing this. He will die in Pergamon, which is nowhere near Rome, among people who do not know his name. The republic he defended will survive another 100 years. He will not see it fall. He will not know how it falls. He will always believe he stopped the worst thing. He was right about that, and wrong about almost everything else. The commission continues. Appius is still working. He goes to the office each morning. He has the maps. He has the records. He has the argument that the commission is a legal body authorized by a valid law. The law passed. It has not been repealed. Until it is repealed, the commission exists. He says this to anyone who questions him. He is old. He is tired. He is also the former princeps senatus. No one in Rome wants to formally move against Appius Claudius. Not the week after 300 men died on the Capitoline. Crassus is still checking the numbers. He finds the same kind of error he always finds. He corrects it. He files it. The surveyors in Etruria are still walking the boundary lines. They heard the news from a cart driver 3 days later. One of them set his stake down and looked at the field for a long time. Then he picked the stake back up and continued. This is what the law looks like from the outside 3 days after the man who made it dies. It looks exactly the same as before. That is both the best thing about it and the reason it will be so hard to kill. The families who received their 30 iugera are farming. They do not know what happened on the Capitoline. Some of them will find out in a week, some in a month. The news travels at the speed of people on roads. When they find out, some of them will stop and wait. That is what people who have learned not to trust good things do. They wait to see what the good thing costs. Others will keep farming. The land is in the ground. The boundary stones are planted. Law can be repealed. A field that has been worked through a winter is harder to take back than a law. He knew this. He thought about it when he was designing the distribution. He will not see whether he was right about it. Gaius Gracchus is in Sardinia. He is doing the work of a military tribune in peacetime, which is mostly numbers, supply accounts, dispatch letters, counts. He is good at it. He is faster than most men with numbers. He is 20 years old. He does not know yet what happened on the Capitoline. The message will take time. It is crossing the sea now or waiting for the ship. It will arrive when it arrives. He will read it standing up. He always reads standing when he is concentrating. He will read it twice. He will fold it carefully. He will walk somewhere alone. He will stand there for a while. Then he will do the things that come after. He will come home. He will serve. He will run for tribune. He will build what his brother built, but larger and with more supports. He will also die for it, on a different hill, in a different month, 12 years from now. But that is later. That is not today. Today he is doing supply numbers in a room that smells of the sea. He will finish them and go to dinner and talk with the men he serves with. He will sleep without difficulty, the way young men sleep when they do not know what the night carries toward them. The Capitoline Hill at evening. A few birds. The last light on the temple. Below the city, making its ordinary sounds. Near the temple steps, a piece of wood, broken at one end, part of a chair that was made for a senator to sit in. Has sat in the Senate House for 20 years. It is on the Capitoline. No one has picked it up. The hill does not know whose it was. It has been here since before the city. It will be here after. It holds the cold the way it always holds the cold. Without knowing. Without understanding. Something happened on it today. The hill holds this too. Chapter 5. The Unspoken Name. Cornelia hears the news before evening. A man came to the door of the Palatine house. He did not come inside. He said the 2 sentences and he left. He had probably said these sentences several times today. He was delivering messages. He did his job. She stood in the entrance. She does not know how long. The light was at a certain position when he arrived. It was at a different position when she moved. This is the only measurement she has. She thinks about the morning he left. He was up before dawn. She heard him. She did not get up. Lay in the dark and listened to his step on the stone floor. The particular sound of his step. She has known it since he was 6 years old. He went early. He went early because he wanted to see the hill before it filled. She knows this about him now that it cannot help him. She knew it when he was 7, when he wanted to arrive at his lessons before the other students. She knew it in Spain, when she read between the sentences of his letters. He needed to see the shape of the room before it filled. He needed to count it. She did not know he needed to count it more carefully today. He did not know either. This is the hardest kind of thing. The kind where everyone did what they would have done and the outcome is still this. She thinks about what to write to Gaius. She has written difficult letters before. She has been writing letters since she was a girl in her father's house. She knows how to give form to a thing that resists form. You find the plainest words. You put them in the correct order. You say the thing once clearly and then you let the person read it. She will write it this evening when she is ready. She has written about her father's exile. She has written about her husband's death. She has written to Gaius from a distance before, about things that could not be told in person. She knows what she will say. She will say, "Your brother died this morning on the Capitoline. He was the first. 300 men died with him. The law is still in effect. The commission is still working. She will say, "Come home when you can." She will not say, "I am sorry." This is not a thing she says in letters. It is not a thing that a letter can carry correctly. She will say it when he arrives. That is when it can be said. She thinks about what Gaius will do when he reads it. She knows him. She has known him since before he could walk. He will read it standing up. He will read it twice. The second time slowly, the way he reads things that matter. He will fold it carefully. He is careful with papers. He has always been careful with papers, unlike Tiberius, who lost things. He will walk somewhere and stand there. She does not know where. Sardinia is a place she has never been. She has no picture of the room where he works or the view from the door. She pictures him standing somewhere with the sea nearby. That is as specific as she can make it. He will stand there and then he will do the things that come after. She thinks about what she said to him when he was young. When he used to follow Tiberius and argue with everything Tiberius concluded. She said, "You see things quickly. Your brother sees them completely. These are different speeds. Both of them matter." He was 12 when she said this. She does not know if he remembered it. She thinks about raising them. She has wondered sometimes what it says about her. That she raised sons who would go out and try to change the city. It knew what the city did to people who tried. She has always known. She knew it from her father, from her husband, from the men she watched at her table for 30 years. She raised them anyway. She has looked for the answer to what this means about her. It has not found one she is satisfied with. She has decided she is not required to find one. She did what she did. The reasons were what they were. They do not need to resolve into a single sentence. In the Senate, the session that follows does not use his name. Not in the record. Not in the speeches. The dead man. The tribune. The incident. The day in October. There are men in the chamber who voted for the land law. Oh, believe the arithmetic. They are sitting in the session that does not use his name. They are listening. They are not speaking. This is how it works. Men who agreed with him, who voted for him, who benefited from what he did, now sitting quietly in a room where his name is not said. They will leave and go home and eat dinner. Some of them will do something about it later, in a different year, through different means. This is how it works. This is always how it works. Time will pass. The thing will not be finished. Cornelia goes to the window. The Palatine at evening. The same view she has had for years. The city below doing its ordinary things. The Forum. The other hills. The Tiber somewhere beyond the rooftops. She cannot see the Capitoline from here. She has never needed to see it from here. Her father told her once that Rome had survived things that seemed unsurvivable. He believed this. He had seen enough to have evidence. He told her it was strong. He told her it would last. He died in exile. She believed him then. She is less certain tonight. The city makes its sounds. Iron on stone. A cart across the valley. A dog somewhere. The particular silence between one sound and the next. She stands at the window for a long time. She does not say his name. She does not need to. She has known it since the day he was born. She will know it until the day she dies. She goes to her desk. She picks up the stylus. She begins to write. Chapter 6, Before the Light. Publius Cornelius Scipio Nasica Serapio made his decision the night before. This is important. He did not decide on the hill. He did not decide in the Forum. He did not decide when the news reached him that Tiberius was reaching for a crown. He decided the night before. In his house. At his table. After the meal was cleared. A man who decides in the heat of the moment is a man who can claim impulse. Nasica cannot claim impulse. He had slept on it. He sat at his table in the lamplight and he thought through what he was going to do. He thought through it the way he thinks through everything. Carefully. In order. With each step named. He is 61 years old. He has been in public life for 40 years. He knows how to think in order. He thought about the second term first. The second term was a violation of custom. Not of written law. Of custom. Rome runs on custom. This is the thing people who are not Roman do not understand. The written laws are important. The customs are more important. The customs are the written laws before anyone wrote them down. They are older. They carry more weight. A man who breaks a written law has broken a rule. A man who breaks a custom has broken the ground the rules stand on. Tiberius had broken one custom already. He had removed Octavius. That was in the spring. The Senate had said nothing. Nasica had argued for silence. He had said, "We do not make him a martyr. We wait. We find the right moment." The right moment had arrived. A second term was the line. He thought about this. He thought about what a second term meant in practice. A tribune could not be touched while in office. A tribune who refused to leave office could not be removed. Not legally. If Tiberius won a second term, he could win a third. He could keep winning until someone stopped him. And the argument he had created when he removed Octavius made stopping him very difficult. The assembly can remove a tribune. Yes. But the same logic protected Tiberius. He was popular. He had the assembly behind him. The assembly would not remove him. So how do you stop a popular tribune who has found a way to stay in office? Nasica thought about this. He thought about the kings. Rome has one rule older than all the others. Rome killed its last king 400 years ago. Since then the rule has been, no man holds power beyond his term. No man accumulates power that cannot be checked. Nasica was not calling Tiberius a king. He was noting that the mechanism was the same. A popular man with popular support who found a way to extend his tenure. Who was difficult to remove legally. Whose supporters would protect him. This is the mechanism that produces kings. Not the title. The mechanism. He poured wine. He thought about Scaevola. Scaevola had told him in the closed meetings that a legal solution would take time. Challenge the commission in court. Challenge the second term filing. These things take months, during which Tiberius continues to hold office. During which he builds more support. During which the damage spreads. Nasica is not a patient man in the way that Scaevola is a patient man. He is patient when patience produces results. He is not patient when patience produces only more time for the problem to worsen. He thought about tomorrow. Tomorrow the assembly would vote on the second term. The vote would probably succeed. Tiberius had the tribes. He had done the count. Tiberius would win. If Tiberius won tomorrow, the moment would have passed. He would be tribune for another year. Whatever was going to happen would happen next year. And the year after. The moment was now. He set down the cup. He looked at the lamp. He told himself what he was about to do was constitutional. He is the Pontifex Maximus. He has the religious authority of the state. He has the authority to call people to defend the Republic. He told himself this was a legal act. He does not know yet whether he is right. He will not live long enough to find out. He went to bed. He slept. Not easily. He slept. In the morning he would go to the Capitoline. He would go without a weapon. He would go in his senatorial toga. He would go as the Pontifex Maximus defending the Republic. He told himself this in the dark. He slept. He thought before he slept about what tomorrow would mean. Not for him. For Rome. He has been a senator for 40 years. He has watched Rome make decisions. He has watched some of those decisions be wrong. He has watched Rome absorb the wrong decisions and continue. Rome is good at absorbing. This is its particular strength. Things happen. The forum reopens. The sellers return. The lawyers cross the square. He believed this would happen tomorrow. Whatever happened on the hill, the forum would open the next morning. He believed this. He also believed something else. Something he did not say at the session. Something he has not said to anyone. He believed that what he was doing was the last time. The last time this particular kind of thing would be done this way. Rome had changed this year. Not because of what happened on the hill. What happened on the hill was a response. Rome had changed before the hill. It changed in the spring when Tiberius removed Octavius. The rule that had held for 300 years stopped holding. The custom that a tribune was untouchable stopped being a custom. It became something else. Something negotiable. Something that could be argued about. A rule you can argue about is not a rule. It is a preference. and preferences change. He had spent the spring and summer and early autumn watching the preference change. Watching men who had believed in the untouchability of the tribunate start to wonder about it. Watching men who had believed in the permanence of customs start to consider exceptions. He was part of this. He knew it. He told himself he was defending the Republic. He believed it. He also knew that defending something by breaking one of its rules changes the thing. He had thought about this for months. He had decided the change was necessary. He slept. Chapter 7. The Emergency Session. The Senate met before dawn. Not in the Senate House. In the Temple of Fides. On the Capitoline Hill. This is where emergency sessions were held. When there was no time for the forum. When what had to be decided could not wait for the proper space. Nasica had the authority to call it. As Pontifex Maximus he could call a session without a consul's approval. He used this authority rarely. He used it now. The message went to 40 senators the night before. Not all 40 senators. 40 specific senators. The selection was deliberate. Nasica knew who would come. He knew who would ask questions he did not want to answer. He did not invite the second group. This is how power is exercised in a room. You control the room before the room convenes. Who is there? Who is not? The ratio between them. The Temple of Fides is small. 40 men made it full. 40 men who had been invited specifically. 40 men who knew, in general terms, why they were there. 40 men who had decided, before they arrived, that they were going to agree. The consul Mucius Scaevola was there. He had not been specifically invited. He had heard about the session. He had come anyway. He stood at the back. The session began. Nasica spoke. He said, Tiberius Gracchus is seeking a second term. He said, the second term is a violation of the most fundamental custom of Roman office. He said, Tiberius has already violated the custom of the tribunate by removing Octavius. He said, a man who has broken two foundational customs of the Republic cannot be allowed to continue. He said, this morning we need to stop him. He said it clearly. He did not say with what means. He did not say bench legs. He said, stop him. The men in the room understood what stop him meant. They had all served in the army. They had all been in provinces where things needed to be stopped. They knew what stopping looked like. Scaevola spoke. He said, I will not order violence. He said it before anyone could respond to Nasica. He said, the consul will not issue that order. He paused. He said, I trust the Senate will also consider the legal position carefully. This was Scaevola's way of saying, I am on the record. I said it. Do not make me responsible for what follows. Nasica said he would give the order himself. Those who wanted to save the Republic could follow. Scaevola looked at him for a long moment. He is the best lawyer in Rome. He understood what was happening in this room. He understood what his leaving would mean. He understood what his staying would mean. He left. He walked out of the temple before the session continued. 38 men remained. These are the men who went up the hill. Some of them believed the crown story. Some of them did not. Some of them were thinking about the land commission, about the surveys, about letters from their families, about holdings that were going to be reduced. All of them told themselves they were defending the Republic. Nasica looked at the 38 men. He said, we go to the hill. He led the way out. He is 61 years old. He had not slept well. He did not slow for any of this. The 38 men followed. There is a particular sound when 38 men follow a single man out of a room. Not one sound. A collection of sounds. The scrape of sandals on stone. The sound of togas adjusting. The sound of a group of men who have made a decision becoming the decision. They came out of the Temple of Fides into the morning. The Capitoline Hill in October before full light. Cold stone. Cold air. The view of the city below still dark in the low places. The Tiber a dark line. The forum invisible but present. They knew the forum was there. They had all spent their lives in the forum. Nasica looked at the path up to the Temple of Jupiter. He looked at the crowd already gathered at the top. He could see the shapes of people. He could not see faces from here. He could see the shapes of people who had been there all night. Some sitting. Some standing. Some moving. He saw the shape he was looking for. A man standing near the front, taller than most, a particular way of standing. He had seen Tiberius Gracchus stand like that in the Senate, in the Forum, at dinners. He thought 30 years old. He thought it could have been different. He did not slow. He walked up the path. The 38 men followed. Their clients followed. The bench legs were already found. The tools were already in hand. The hill was cold. The air was cold. The morning had that particular stillness of a morning before something changes it. Then they were at the top. The Capitoline before full light. The Temple of Jupiter is the largest building on the hill. It faces south. In the morning the shadow of it falls across the eastern side. The crowd that had been there all night was on the eastern side, in the shadow. Nasica stood at the top of the path. He looked at them. The crowd that had been there all night was not what he had expected. He had expected men with weapons. Men who had been preparing for a fight. He saw men who had been there since before dawn. Men who had wrapped cloaks around themselves. Men who had eaten what they brought and were waiting for the vote. Men who believed this morning would end with a vote. This was the thing Nasica had not fully accounted for. The men on the hill believed in the process. They believed the vote would happen. They believed the law would hold. They believed in some general way that the republic worked. They were not armed because you do not bring weapons to a vote. He stood at the top of the path. He looked at Tiberius. Tiberius is a tribune. He has been a tribune for 10 months. He removed a tribune from office. He passed the land law. He built the commission. He ran for re-election. He is standing in his tribune's toga. He is 30 years old. Nasica thought, this is a young man. He had known Tiberius since he was a child. Tiberius's father and Nasica had served together. He had watched Tiberius grow up. He had watched him become a senator, a quaestor, a tribune. He thought, this did not have to be this way. He did not stop. He thought, it also could not be any other way. He moved toward the crowd. The 38 senators moved with him. The clients moved with the senators. The hill accepted what happened on it. The hill does not distinguish. The hill is stone. It was here before the Republic. It will be hereafter. Then they were at the top. And what happened next happened. And it lasted 11 minutes. And the hill was quiet after. And the forum below reopened the next morning. Chapter 8, Tools? They did not have weapons. This is in every account. The senators and their clients went to the Capitoline without weapons. They were not soldiers. They were men who had served as soldiers a long time ago. Or men who had supervised soldiers. Or men who had sons who were soldiers. They were not soldiers on that morning. What they found on the way up the hill was the forum. The forum provides. The benches outside the temples were wooden. Old wood. Heavy wood. The kind that holds together when you bring it down on something hard. The kind that does not shatter on the first blow. The benches broke apart when they tried. The legs came off with pressure. About 2 feet long. The weight of a short sword. Good for close quarters. Good for a crowd where there is no room to swing. Some of them wrapped their togas over their heads. This is a gesture with many meanings in Rome. In mourning, grief. In sacrifice, ritual attention to the gods. In the forum during a vote, solemnity. On the Capitoline Hill that morning it meant one specific thing. It meant, I will not show my face for this. The clients came with the senators. Clients are not senators. They are men who owe obligations to specific powerful men. They perform services in return for protection and patronage. Among the services, accompanying a senator when he goes somewhere. Being present. Being useful in whatever way usefulness is required. They carried the same tools. The path from the forum to the Capitoline is steep. The path narrows near the top. A man climbing fast is breathing hard when he arrives. They climbed fast. The sound of men climbing a steep path together is different from other sounds. A heavy rhythm. Stone and shoe leather. The breathing of men who have committed to something and are moving toward it. The people at the top heard them coming. Tiberius's supporters had been there since before dawn. Some of them all night. Some had wrapped themselves in their cloaks on the temple steps and slept. They were there because of the vote. The vote on the second term. Some of them were armed. Not all. The armed ones had brought weapons the way you bring a cloak in October. Because October can turn cold. Because the forum at night can turn dangerous. Because there had been rumors. They heard the sound from the path. The sound of men climbing fast. Some of Tiberius's supporters moved toward the path. Some moved away. The ones who moved toward it were the ones with weapons. The ones who moved away were the ones without. These are the two kinds of people in a crowd when something is coming. The ones who move toward and the ones who move away. The ratio between them determines what happens. That morning on the Capitoline the ratio went one way. The senators arrived at the top still breathing hard. Nasica was in front. He had not slowed on the climb. He is 61 years old. He climbs hills. He stopped at the top. He looked at the crowd. He looked at Tiberius. Tiberius was near the center of the gathered crowd. He had supporters around him. Not as many as there should have been. Some had already gone. The ones who had been there all night and were tired. The ones who had heard the sound on the path and made a decision. The ones who remained were standing. Watching. Not yet moving. There was a moment. These moments exist. Between the arrival and the contact. A moment when both sides look at each other. When both sides understand what is about to happen. When neither side has yet moved. The moment is very short. 5 seconds. Maybe 10. In the moment Tiberius looked at Nasica. Nasica looked at Tiberius. Neither of them spoke. There was nothing to say that would change what was about to happen. They both knew this. Nasica had decided the night before. Tiberius had run out of exits. The moment ended. He moved. The bench legs did the work they were brought to do. The clients moved with the senators. The clients did not hold back. A client's job is to be useful. They were useful. Tiberius's supporters scattered in the way crowds scatter when something they did not expect arrives. Not all at once. The ones closest to the path went first. Then the ones behind them. Then the ones who had been standing near Tiberius. By the time it was clear what was happening, it was already decided. The men who stayed were the ones who could not run fast enough. Or would not. The ones who would not were the ones who believed, until the bench legs arrived, that belief was sufficient protection. It was not. Belief has never been sufficient protection on a hill. The hill was cold. The light was still early. The sound of men on stone. The sound of wood on stone. The particular quiet between each impact. 11 minutes. This is how long it takes. 11 minutes. If you have climbed the hill fast. If you have carried the tools. If you have decided the night before. Chapter 9. The 11 minutes. It lasted 11 minutes. This is the number that later accounts agree on. 11 minutes from the first contact to the moment when it stopped. 11 minutes is not a long time. A man can walk from the forum to the Tiber in 11 minutes. A senator can cross the square and greet 3 colleagues in 11 minutes. A fire can start in a house and reach the roof in 11 minutes. A great deal can happen in 11 minutes. If you know what you are doing. If you have committed to it. If you have carried bench legs up a hill. The senators came over the top of the path. There was a sound before contact. The sound that comes before contact when a large group of men has committed to something. Not words. Not a battle cry. Something lower. The sound of men who have stopped asking whether and started asking how. Tiberius's supporters were between the senators and the temple. They had been there all night. They were tired. Some of them were armed. The armed ones moved forward. The armed men met the senators first. There was a moment of contact where neither side knew what the other was going to do. This moment lasted perhaps 10 seconds. Then a bench leg came down. After that the shape of it was clear. The senators had the hill. They had the angle. They had the energy of men who had climbed fast and arrived with that energy still in them. Their clients were with them. The clients did not hold back. Tiberius's supporters scattered. Not all at once. In stages. The stages were fast. The first stage was shock. The second stage was recognition. The third stage was movement. The fourth stage was running. By the third stage the people around Tiberius were thinning. He looked for the exits. He had counted 3 when he arrived. The path he had come up. The far side of the temple. The narrow way between the shrines. He checked them. He had been checking exits since Numantia. He could not stop. The path was filled with senators coming up. The far side of the temple was blocked. The narrow way between the shrines had people in it. All three. He had never counted 3 exits and found all 3 blocked. He tried the path. He pushed toward it. A man was in his way. Another man. He pushed. He was pushed back. He did not have a weapon. He was a tribune. He was campaigning for a second term. He was standing at the top of the Capitoline Hill in his tribune's toga. He did not have a weapon. He looked for his supporters. Most of them were gone. He looked for anyone. He tripped. This is in every account. He tripped on the bodies of men who had fallen around him. He went down on the stones. He was hit. First blow to the head. He went down further. Second blow. He was 30 years old. He did not get up. The hill went quiet in stages. Not immediately. First the sound of movement stopped. Then the sound of the last of the running stopped. Then the hill held the particular quiet of a space where something large and irreversible has just occurred. The senators looked at what was on the hill. 317 men. Dead or nearly dead. The bench legs broken. The togas dark. The stone dark. The smell of blood on stone is a particular smell. The smell of stone in October is a particular smell. Together they make a smell that does not have a name. Anyone who has been to war knows it anyway. Nasica stood at the top of the hill. He had done what he decided to do. He looked at the hill. He would not stop believing it was right. Not today. Not when they sent him to Pergamon. Not when he died there. He looked at the hill one more time. He walked back down the path. The forum below was doing what forums do in the morning. The cellars. The lawyers. Iron on stone. He walked through it. He walked through the forum and he did not stop. He did not know exactly what he felt. This is not something he would admit. He is a man who knows what he feels. He has been in public life for 40 years. He has learned to know his own responses, to name them, to manage them. He walked through the forum and he did not know exactly what he felt. He felt that the Republic was safer. He believed this. He will continue to believe it. He also felt something else. Not guilt. Not grief. Something with less name than those. The specific feeling of a man who has done something permanent. Who has done something that cannot be undone. Who knows that the permanence of it will be part of how he is remembered. He walked through the forum. The sellers were setting up their stalls. A woman was buying bread. 2 men were arguing about something at the edge of the square. The lawyers with their tablets. The ordinary sounds. He walked through ordinary sounds. He thought, the Republic is safer. He thought, that is what matters. He walked home. Chapter 10. What the signals meant. Before the hill. Before the senators climbed the path. Before the 11 minutes. There was a signal. In the forum below, word reached the Senate that Tiberius had touched his head. He had reached up and touched his temple. Or the top of his head. Or his forehead. The accounts differ on the exact gesture. The men who reported it said, he is calling for a crown. This is what they said. They were wrong. He was telling his supporters that his life was in danger. A prearranged signal. If the situation turned dangerous. If he needed the men around him to close in. Touch the head. Protect me. This is in Plutarch. Plutarch also notes the misreading. 2 men in the crowd read the gesture and ran. They ran through the forum to where the senators were meeting. They were out of breath when they arrived. They said, Tiberius is calling for a crown. The men in the room received this information. What they did with it is the question. Nasica had already decided the night before. He had decided on the second term. He had decided on the mechanism. He had decided on the hill. When the 2 men arrived out of breath with the crown story, he had a choice. He could say, that is probably a misreading. He could say, wait until we know more. He could say, do not act on incomplete information. He said none of these things. He said, those who want to save the Republic will follow him. He used the crown story. Not because he necessarily believed it. Because it was the kind of story a room full of senators would understand. Rome kills men who reach for crowns. This is the oldest rule. Tarquin the Proud. 400 years ago. The rule is older than anything else. The crown story made the hill legal. Or at least legible. A thing that could be explained. A thing that senators could tell their families at dinner that night. He was reaching for a crown. We stopped him. This is what Romans do. Whether Tiberius was reaching for a crown does not change what happened on the hill. What happened on the hill happened because Nasica decided the night before. The crown story is the reason that fit in a sentence. The actual reason was longer. More complicated. Less satisfying as a dinner table explanation. The forum below the hill that morning. The light was still early. Cold October light. The kind that comes flat and clear before it warms. The sellers were setting up. A man was arguing with his delivery. A lawyer was explaining something to a younger man. Iron on stone from somewhere east. Normal morning sounds. The hill above the forum was not making normal morning sounds. The forum did not know this yet. It would know by midday. By midday 300 men would be in the Tiber. And the forum would open the next morning anyway. And the sellers would come back. And the lawyers would cross the square. The forum does not stop for what happens on the hill above it. The forum is the forum. Goes on. The sellers came back the next day. And the day after. The lawyers crossed the square. The grain market reopened. The temples held their morning rituals. Scaevola was at the forum 2 days later. He had a case. He argued it. He won it. He walked home. He did not speak publicly about October. He is a man who says what he believes. He has a reputation for this. He also has a reputation for knowing when not to speak. These are not contradictions. They are two skills. He had left the session before the decision was made. He was not present for what happened on the hill. He is the consul. He did not order it. He thinks about this. He thinks about the 38 men who followed Nasica out of the temple. He thinks about what happened on the hill. He thinks about whether leaving the session was sufficient. He is the best lawyer in Rome. He knows what sufficient means legally. He thinks about whether sufficient legally is the same as sufficient in other ways. He does not find an answer that satisfies him. He picks up his case files. He thinks about Nasica. Nasica is in Pergamon. He has been there for 3 months. He will be there for 11 more. He will die there. Scaevola does not know this yet. He thinks about the session in the temple. He had gone to the session. He had spoken. He had left before the decision. He had left. He tells himself this was the right thing to do. He is a lawyer. He knows when not to be in a room. He knows the legal and practical value of absence. He was not present. The record shows he was not present. He said he would not order violence. The record shows this. He thinks, is the record sufficient? He is the best lawyer in Rome. He knows what sufficient means. He stands at the edge of the forum. He thinks, Tiberius is dead. He thinks, the commission is still working. He thinks, Gaius will come home from Sardinia. He thinks, this is not over. He goes to the forum. The forum is doing what forums do. Goes on. Chapter 11, 300. 317. This is the number. Plutarch says more than 300. Appian says 300. Other sources say 317. The difference is about precision. It is not about scale. All sources agree on the scale. 300 men. On the Capitoline Hill. In October. In 11 minutes. More than died at the Allia. The battle at the Allia was the worst day in Rome's early history. The Gauls came through the Allia and sacked the city. That was one of the numbers Rome used to measure disaster. More than the Allia. 300 men. This comparison is made later. Not immediately. Immediately Rome made no comparison at all. Immediately Rome handled the logistics. The bodies were taken to the Tiber. Not buried. Thrown in the river. This was a deliberate decision. Not disorder. Not the chaos of aftermath. A choice. Roman law required burial. Roman custom required burial. The passage after death depended on burial. A man denied burial was a man denied the next thing. The Senate authorized the river disposal. Or rather, no one stopped it. The authorization was silence. The silence of men who needed this done quickly. Before any tribune in the city could issue a veto. Before any legal challenge could form. Before what happened on the hill could be formally examined. Move fast. Put the bodies in the river. Reopen the forum in the morning. The Tiber received them. The Tiber does not care what year it is. It does not distinguish between the men it carries. It takes what it is given and moves south. To the sea. The sea takes what the Tiber brings. One of the bodies was Tiberius. His friends asked for it. They were refused. His body went into the river with the others. This is in every account. The friends asked. The answer was no. The refusal was also deliberate. A body you bury is a body that has a grave. A grave is a place where people can gather. A place where grief becomes organized. Where memory becomes physical. Where a martyr begins. The men who threw him in the river understood this. They were not being cruel. They were being practical. The men who threw him in the river went home after. They had children. They ate dinner. They sat at their tables. They had saved the Republic. They believed this. The forum opened the next morning. Iron on stone. The grain sellers. The lawyers with their tablets. A dog near the temple of Saturn. Normal morning sounds. The forum doing what forums do. 300 men were in the Tiber. The forum did not slow down for this. The forum never slows down. This is either its greatest strength or its most troubling quality. Depending on who you ask. Depending on which day you ask. Among the 300 was a man named Lucius. He had been at the reading in the spring. He had been at the second reading. He had slept in the forum between the second and third readings. He had been at the third reading. He had voted with his tribe. He had come to the Capitoline in October with the others. He had come from outside the city. He had been told about the vote on the second term. He had come. He is not in any account. None of the names of the 300 are in the accounts. The accounts give the number. The accounts do not give the names. 317. 300. More than 300. The numbers agree on the scale. The names are gone. The river took the names. The river takes everything south. The Tiber does not know who Lucius was. The Tiber does not know who Tiberius was. The Tiber does not know what year it is. Carries what it is given. It carries it to the sea. The forum opened the next morning. The forum does not ask where the men went. The forum asks who is next. The answer comes in 9 years. The answer is Gaius. He will be at the rostra. He will have built what Tiberius could not build fast enough. He will have the assembly behind him. He will pass more laws. More important laws. Laws that change more things. Then the same thing will happen to him. Not on the Capitoline. On the Aventine. A different hill. The same logic. The same bench legs. Different men holding them. 3,000 men will die that day. Not 300. 3,000. This is what the precedent from the spring cost. Not immediately. 9 years later. With a larger number. The precedent is, when a popular man threatens the Senate's power, stop him. Stop him with what you have. Stop him fast. Before he becomes more popular. Before the assembly knows what it has lost. The forum reopens. The sellers return. The lawyers cross the square. The forum does not know this is a pattern. The forum only knows the morning. 300 men were in the Tiber. The forum goes on. Chapter 12, Nasica leaves Rome. Nasica did not leave immediately. He stayed in Rome for several months. He believed he had done the right thing. He still believed it. The belief had not changed. He went to the Senate. He walked in the forum. He was the Pontifex Maximus. He had the highest religious office in the state. He carried it visibly. He did not hide. The city was uncomfortable. People called things after him in the streets. The people who called things were people who had lost someone on the hill. People who had been for the land law. People who had heard what happened and formed a position. He did not respond to any of it. He was 61 years old. He had been in provinces and on campaigns. He knew what hostility looked like. He did not flinch. But the Senate had a problem. The Senate had sent 38 men up the hill. The Senate had been silent while the hill happened. The Senate had authorized the river disposal by not stopping it. And now the Senate needed to not be seen as having authorized any of it. This is the calculation. Nasica had done the thing. The Senate needed to not be the thing. The man who does the thing becomes the thing. The men who agreed in private and stayed in their houses become men who had reservations. who had advised caution, who were not present, who deeply respect the rule of law. Nasica understood this. He had been on the other side of it once. Twice. This is how power protects itself. The man at the front carries what happened. The men behind him carry their hands clean. He was the man at the front. A commission came. A diplomatic commission to the kingdom of Pergamon. Attalus III of Pergamon had died without an heir. He had left his kingdom to Rome in his will. Someone needed to go to Pergamon and handle the inheritance. It was a real commission. Pergamon was real. The inheritance was real. The work was real. It was also the Senate's way of asking Nasica to leave without asking him to leave. The commission was important enough that he could not refuse. It was distant enough that he would be gone. The streets would quiet while he was gone. When things quieted, the problem would be solved. Nasica went. He is the Pontifex Maximus. He has the highest religious office in the state. He is being sent to Pergamon to handle an inheritance. He understood what this was. He went anyway. He went because a man who has served Rome for 40 years knows when Rome needs him to leave. He went because the alternative was staying and watching the Senate perform increasing distance from him. He went because somewhere in him he knew. The only way to preserve what he believed was to go before too many questions were asked. He sailed for Pergamon. He was sick on the voyage. He arrived sick. He died in Pergamon 14 months after he left Rome. He died believing he had done what was necessary. He died before the question of whether he was right was answered. He died in Pergamon, away from the hill, away from the forum, away from the city he had served. The commission continued without him. Someone else handled the inheritance. Rome absorbed Pergamon. The city went on. This is the thing about Rome. The city does not stop for any one man. Not for Tiberius. Not for Nasica. Not for any of the men on the hill. The hill happened. The forum reopened. The commission kept working. The elections were held. The Senate met. The laws were debated. The sellers sold grain. Rome does not stop. Nasica spent 14 months in Pergamon. He did the work he was sent to do. He handled the inheritance. He wrote reports. He met with local officials. He was a Roman senator doing his job in a foreign kingdom. He was also a man in exile who was not being called exile. He knew this. He is a man who knows things even when he would prefer not to. He had gone to Pergamon because Rome needed him to go. The Rome that needed him to go was the same Rome that had followed him up the hill. The same men. The same Senate. The same Republic. He understood this. He had understood it before he sailed. A man who does the thing becomes the thing. The men who agreed and stayed at home become men with reservations. He had gone to Pergamon without bitterness about this. At least he tells himself this. He is not certain he tells the truth. He died in Pergamon. He is buried there. Not in Rome. He did not come home. It always goes on. Nasica in Pergamon. He arrived in the early spring. The crossing from Brindisi had been rough. He is not a good sailor. He had never been a good sailor. He had made the crossing anyway because there was a commission to handle. Pergamon is not Rome. This is the first thing. The streets are different. The light is different. The particular way that light falls in Anatolia is not the way it falls in Latium. He noticed this immediately. He has been noticing it for 14 months. He has not stopped noticing. He does his work. The inheritance of Attalus is genuinely complicated. There are debts. There are properties. There are competing claims from people who say the king had promised them things. There are the administrative questions of how to actually govern a kingdom you have inherited by will. He does the work. He writes reports. He sends them to Rome. Rome does not send many letters back. This is not unusual. Rome is Rome. Rome is busy. Rome does not write back quickly to men it has sent away. He is 61 years old. He had expected to be in Rome. He had expected to die in Rome. He is in Pergamon. He thinks about the hill sometimes. Not often. He has controlled this. He was not a man who spent time on things he had already decided. That way is madness. When he thinks about it, he thinks, I was right. He does not ask, was I wrong? He does not ask it because he knows what the answer is. Or rather, he knows there are two answers. He was right about the Republic. He was wrong about what he did to fix it. These two answers cannot both be true. He knows this. He does not resolve it. He works. He writes. He does not come home. He dies in Pergamon in the autumn. He is buried there. Not in Rome. His grave is in a place where the light is not Roman light. The forum goes on without him. It always goes on. Chapter 13. Cornelia Hears. The message came by courier. 3 days on the road. The courier changed horses at 2 stations. He arrived in the afternoon. She was in the garden. She was not writing. She writes in the mornings. The afternoon is for other things. For the garden in October. For the particular light that October afternoons have. The light that is already thinking about what comes next. The light that knows about winter before winter arrives. She saw the servant's face before the words came. She had learned this. In 40 years of living in Rome. As the daughter of Africanus. As the wife of Sempronius Gracchus. As the mother of Tiberius and Gaius. In 40 years you learn to read the face before the words. The words are prepared. The face is not. The face told her. She listened to the words anyway. She stood in the garden and listened. She asked 2 questions. When? How? The servant answered. She thanked him. She stood in the garden a moment longer. The October light continued. The branches were beginning what they begin in October. The last of the flowers had already gone. The first of the bare branches. She went inside. She did not cry in the garden. She did not cry where anyone could see. This is not a rule she was taught. She arrived at it herself. Over years. Over the specific years of being the woman she is. Who has lost a husband. Who has lost children. Who has watched men she loved go into the world and not come back. She has a system for this. She goes inside. She went to her room. She sat on the edge of the bed. She held the information. This is what she does. She holds it. She does not immediately process it. She does not immediately act on it. She holds it until the shape of it is clear. The shape of this was, Tiberius is dead. He died on the Capitoline. He died in October. He was 30 years old. She held the shape. She thought about the last time she saw him. It was in the summer. He came to dinner. He was working on the 2nd term. She had said, be careful. He had said he would be. She had known when he said it, that being careful was not the plan. The plan was the 2nd term. Being careful was what he said to her. Because she was his mother. Because he loved her. He did not want her to worry. She had known this. She had let him say it. She sat on the edge of the bed. She thought about her son. Not the tribune. Her son. The boy who was afraid of dogs until he was 6. Who learned to read faster than expected. Who checked the exits when he entered a room. She had noticed the exits thing when he was young. She did not know where he had picked it up. He did it without thinking. He could not stop. She pressed her thumb joint. She does not do this often. She does it sometimes when the grief is large. She held the information. Then she stood. She went to her desk. She picked up the stylus. She held it. She did not write yet. Not yet. She had a letter to write. To Gaius. In Sardinia. He does not know yet. She needs to tell him. She needs to tell him before someone else does. Before a rumor reaches him on the ship lane. Before he hears it from a stranger. She needs to be the one who tells him. She held the stylus. The lamp on her desk was low. She did not tend it. She thought about what to say. She is a woman who has written difficult letters before. To Tiberius in Africa. To Gaius before this. To men who needed to be told things they did not want to hear. She knows how to write a difficult letter. You begin with the fact. Then the facts around the fact. Then what comes next? She pressed the stylus to the wax. She began. She writes slowly when the letter is important. She does not rush the words. She has written this kind of letter before. To Tiberius when his father died. To her own mother. To friends. She has learned, a letter written too fast loses something. The reader can feel the haste. The haste communicates more than you intend. She writes slowly. She writes Gaius. She writes what happened. Not everything. The important things. The hill. The date. The way it happened. She does not soften it. She has never softened things in letters. She was raised by a man who did not soften things. She has been honest with her sons since they were old enough to hear honesty. She writes, "The commission is still working." She writes this because she knows Gaius will want to know this. She knows what Gaius thinks about. She has known since he was 12. She writes, "Come home when you can." She does not write, "Come home now." She does not write, "I need you here." She knows Gaius. He will come when he can. He will arrange it. He does not need to be told to hurry. He needs to be given the facts. He arranges the rest. She finishes the letter. She seals it. She sits with the sealed letter in her hands. The lamp is very low now. She did not tend it. She holds the letter. She thinks about Gaius reading it. In Sardinia. At his desk. Alone. In the morning. She thinks he will sit very still. She knows this about him. When something large happens, he goes still. Like water when the wind stops. She thinks he will know what to do. She sets the letter on the desk. She goes to bed. She does not sleep for a long time. She always sleeps eventually. She is grateful for this. Chapter 14. The Empty Desk. The message came by ship. Tiberius Gracchus is in Sardinia. He has been there for 4 months. He is quaestor to the governor. This is his first official appointment. He is 20 years old. He was posted to Sardinia because postings go by seniority and connection. Gaius had the connection but not the seniority. Sardinia was available. He took it. He likes the work. He is good at it. He is good at most work he turns his attention to. He has been saying this to himself since he was 12. He is not saying it with pride. He is saying it because it is true, and true things help when the work is hard. He is in a difficult posting. The soldiers under the governor's command are under-equipped. The grain supply is unreliable. The local political situation is complicated. He has spent 4 months working on all three. He has made progress on the grain. The soldiers are better equipped. The political situation is still complicated. He receives the letter from his mother on a Tuesday morning. He is at his desk. He opens it. He reads it. He sits very still. He has been practicing stillness since he was a boy. He watched his brother practice certainty. Certainty is useful. Stillness is also useful. Different uses. He sits still. He sets the letter down. He looks at the wall. He thinks about the last time he spoke to Tiberius. Spring. Before he left for Sardinia. They spoke for an hour. He does not remember the specific words. He remembers the shape. Tiberius was planning. The commission. The second term. The 5 years after that. He had asked Gaius what he thought of the second term. Gaius had said it was risky. Tiberius had said so was the first one. He had known then. He had known Tiberius was going to do it. He sits in Sardinia with this. He picks up the letter. He reads it again. He sets it down. He thinks about the commission. The commission is still working. This is in the letter. His mother noted it specifically. Appius Claudius is still there. The surveyors are still measuring. The legal challenges are still being filed and decided. The work is continuing. He thinks the work was the point. Not Tiberius. Not the tribune. Not even the man. The work was the point. The land goes to people who need it. The commission measures and assigns. The surveys are done. The assignments are made. This continues. He files this. He stands. He goes to the door of his office. He opens it. He looks out at the harbor. Sardinia in October. The sea is cold this time of year. The crossing from Sardinia to Ostia takes 3 days. Sometimes more in bad weather. He will ask for leave. The governor will grant it. This kind of leave is always granted. He will cross to Ostia. He will ride to Rome. He will go to his mother's house first. Then to the house where they grew up. He thinks about the house. He thinks about the study. The desk. Tiberius's desk. He has seen that desk empty before. When Tiberius was in Africa. When he was at the commission. When he was at the forum before dawn. This kind of empty is different. He stands at the door of his office in Sardinia. He thinks, someone has to sit at that desk. He has been thinking this since he read the letter. Not as a decision. As a recognition. The way you recognize something you already knew. He closes the door. He goes back to his desk. He has work to do today. He will finish the work. Then he will arrange passage. He puts the letter in the drawer. He picks up the supply report. He looks at the supply report. He thinks about the men in the field. There are 4 cohorts of soldiers stationed in Sardinia. They are here for reasons that have to do with provincial administration. He has been working on their equipment for 4 months. The equipment situation has improved. He thinks, these men are here doing their job. He thinks, the commission in Rome is doing its job. He thinks, my job today is this supply report. He begins to read. He reads for an hour. He makes notes. He is very good at reading for work. He does not bring the other things into the reading. He keeps them separate. He has always been able to do this. Tiberius could not. Tiberius brought everything into everything. This was part of his strength. It was also the thing that made him difficult to stop once he started. Gaius is different. He puts things in separate rooms. He goes to the room that is needed. He does the work. He finishes the supply report. He stands. He goes to the window. Sardinia in October. The sea is gray. The morning mist is still on the harbor. He thinks about the crossing. 3 days if the weather holds. More if it doesn't. He goes to find the governor. He goes to work. He works through the morning. He is very good at working through mornings. When the alternative is sitting alone with something he cannot yet do anything about. The supply situation is clearer than it was. The grain routes are stable. The equipment situation has improved. He has been good for this province. He knows this. The soldiers know it. He spends the morning on the requisitions. At midday he stops. He eats. He does not eat much. His appetite is not good today. He thinks about the crossing. He will book passage within the week. The governor will understand. The governor is a reasonable man. He has been good to work for. He thinks about what Rome will look like when he arrives. He thinks, the Senate will be managing something. The Senate always manages something after a crisis. A crisis for the Senate is anything that makes the Senate look like it acted outside its authority. The Hill acted outside the Senate's authority. Even though the Senate sent the men, the Senate will be managing the appearance. He knows how this works. He has been watching it since he was 12. He thinks, the Land Commission is still working. He thinks, Appius is still at the table. He thinks, I need to understand the legal situation of the commission when I get back. The challenges that were filed. The decisions. The districts still pending. He picks up the letter from the drawer. He reads it one more time. He puts it back. He stands. He goes to the window. Sardinia in October. The sea in the afternoon. The light on the harbor. He has been in Sardinia for 4 months. He will leave within the week. He thinks about the desk in Rome. He thinks, someone has to sit at it. He knows who. He goes to find the governor. Chapter 15. What Rome said. The Senate issued no formal statement. This is interesting. 300 men dead on the most sacred hill in Rome. The first political murder in 350 years. No formal statement. What the Senate did instead was this. They established a commission. The commission was to investigate seditious activity. The seditious activity was Tiberius's second-term campaign. The commission had the power to arrest and try men. It tried several of Tiberius's supporters. Some were exiled. Some were executed. The commission was later challenged. Gaius will challenge it when he returns. He will say it was unconstitutional. He will be right. He will lose the challenge. The Senate also issued an informal statement. Not in writing. In the way that things are communicated in Rome when you do not want a document. Through dinner tables. Through the morning greetings in the forum. Through the way senators referred to October when they referred to it at all. The informal statement was, this was necessary. Tiberius had been going to be king. The senators who went to the hill had prevented it. They had done what Roman tradition required. Rome kills men who try to be king. This has been the rule since Tarquin. The informal statement spread through the city. It spread the way informal statements spread. Through the particular channels of a city that has learned to say things without saying them. The word they used was necessary. Not killing. Not murder. Not even death. Necessary. Necessary is a word that explains itself. If it was necessary, then what happened was what had to happen. If it had to happen, then the men who made it happen were acting in service of necessity. If they were acting in service of necessity, they were not responsible for the outcome. They were vehicles of necessity. Vehicles do not need to answer for where they are driven. Plutarch, 200 years later, will call it the first political murder in Rome's history. He does not use the word necessary. He uses the word murder. He is also right. Between the Senate's informal statement and Plutarch, there is the question of what words do. They do different work at different times. In the moment, necessary does the work of explaining. 200 years later, murder does the work of remembering. Both things are true. The land commission continued. This is the other thing that happened after. Tiberius died on the Capitoline. The commission he created kept working. Appius Claudius was still on it, still showing up, still unrolling the maps, still saying the names. The surveyors kept measuring. The legal challenges kept being filed. The commission kept deciding them. The land law was still the land law. The men who killed Tiberius had done many things on the Capitoline that day. They had not done one thing. They had not undone his law. This is not a small thing. This is actually the point. The law was the work. The work continued. They knew this. They thought about it. It bothered them. This is the specific irritation of men who have done a decisive thing, and found that the decisive thing did not decide everything. They had gone to the hill. They had stopped Tiberius. They had prevented the second term. They had preserved, as they saw it, the Republic. And the land commission kept measuring fields in Etruria. Appius Claudius kept coming to work. The surveyors kept going to the districts. The legal challenges kept arriving and being decided. The land kept being assigned. The thing they had not done was stop the law. A tribune is a person. A law is a document. You can stop a person. You cannot stop a document the same way. Some senators tried. They moved to defund the commission. The commission had a budget. The budget came from the Senate. The Senate controls the budget. This was the legal mechanism. Cut the funds. The commission cannot pay its surveyors. The surveyors cannot go to the fields. The fields cannot be measured. The assignments cannot be made. This worked for a while. Then Gaius came back from Sardinia. He is 20 years old. He has a plan. He found money for the commission from a different source. The inheritance from Pergamon had been left to Rome. Rome had new money. Gaius argued the commission should receive some of it. The Senate did not find a legal way to refuse quickly enough. The commission kept working. The men who had gone to the hill had stopped one man. The work continued. This bothered them. They thought about it. They would keep thinking about it. They would still be thinking about it when Gaius stood at the rostra. The forum goes on. The work goes on. This is either the strength of a good law or the stubbornness of a bad precedent. Depending on who you ask. Depending on which year you ask. Chapter 16. The commission continues. 3 days after the hill. The land commission met. This is in the record. Not a disputed detail. Not something that requires careful sourcing. It is in the record. 3 days after 300 men died on the Capitoline Hill, the land commission held its scheduled meeting. Appius Claudius was there. 2 other members. The third seat was empty. They met anyway. Appius Claudius is the former Princeps Senatus. He has been in public life since before Tiberius was born. He has watched things happen in Rome that would make most men stay home. He does not stay home. He had agreed to serve on the commission because he agreed with the law. He agreed with the law for the same reason Tiberius agreed with it. The ager publicus belongs to Rome. 500 iudura is the legal limit. The surveys are clear. The excess is above the limit. It should go back. He had also been in Roman politics long enough to know something. Agreeing with a law and being associated with its creator are 2 different things. They were the same thing while Tiberius was alive. They are different things now. He unrolled the map. He did not speak about what had happened 3 days earlier. Not because he did not think about it. Because the meeting was about the land. Because the land was still there. Because the work was still the work. The names on the map were still names. The iudura were still iudura. The legal challenges were still pending. The surveyors were still in the field. He said the names. He assigned the next district. He noted the challenges. He made the decisions that needed to be made. The other two men at the table did the same. Outside the small room the forum was resuming. 3 days is enough time for a forum to resume. The sellers came back. The lawyers came back. The carts were on the streets. Iron on stone. Ordinary morning sounds. The commission sat in the small room and did the work. He pressed his stylus to the map. He thought about Tiberius. He had liked him. He will not say this out loud. He had agreed to serve because Tiberius had asked directly. Because it was right. Because Appius Claudius, 63 years old, could still recognize when something was right. He thought, the law is still right. He thought, Tiberius is dead. He thought, the law is still right. He pressed the stylus to the map. He thinks about the man they sent to Pergamon. Nasica is gone. 14 months from now Nasica will die in Pergamon. Appius does not know this yet. He knows Nasica is gone. He knows why Nasica is gone. He had not been at the session in the temple. He had not gone to the hill. He had been here at this table checking numbers. He thinks what happened on the hill was wrong. He thinks the work at this table is necessary. He holds both of these at the same time. He is 63 years old. He has been holding contradictions for 40 years. He has practiced at it. The land commission is one of the things he holds. The commission is right. The law is right. The land should be distributed. He also knows what the commission cost. He has thought about this since the spring. Since he agreed to serve. He knew the commission would be used to define Tiberius. He knew being on it would define him. He went on it anyway. Because the land is real. Because the people who came from half a day away and slept on forum stones are real. Because Appius Claudius, 60 years old with 40 years behind him, can still tell the difference between a thing that is right and a thing that is convenient. He presses the stylus to the map. He thinks about what the next 6 months will look like. The commission has work in 5 districts. The legal challenges are backed up. 3 challenges were filed last month. He has been deciding them one by one. Each decision sets a precedent. He is careful about the precedents. He knows what Gaius is coming back to. He has known Gaius since he was a boy. He served with his father. He has watched Gaius become who he is. He thinks, Gaius is different from Tiberius. Tiberius was certain. He moved forward because he was certain. He could not stop once he started because stopping would have required him to doubt. He did not doubt. Gaius sees the room. This is the difference. Tiberius walked through rooms. Gaius reads them. He had watched Gaius at the commission meetings. At the back. Taking notes. The notes that included things that had not been said. He thinks, Gaius will be harder to stop. He does not say this to anyone. He thinks it. He presses the stylus to the map. He begins. Chapter 17. Gaius at the window. He arrives in Rome at night. The ship came into Ostia in the late afternoon. He found a horse. He rode the road from Ostia to Rome in the dark. He knows the road. He has ridden it in every kind of light. He goes to his mother's house first. She is awake. She was waiting. She opens the door. She looks at him. He looks at her. They do not speak for a moment. She says his name. They go inside. She has food. She has wine. He eats. He has not eaten since morning. She tells him what she knows. The sequence. The hill. The vote that did not happen. The river. The formal commission. The informal statement. The land commission still working. He listens. He asks 3 questions. She answers them. He does not ask the question he most wants to ask. She does not answer it. They both know the question. It is, what do I do now? They sit with this not set. He leaves before midnight. He goes to the house where they grew up. The servant lets him in. He goes down the hall. He goes to the study. He stands in the doorway. The desk is there. The lamps are turned down. The scrolls are where Tiberius left them. The papers are where he left them. No one has moved anything. He stands in the doorway for a long time. He is 20 years old. He had a plan. He made it before Sardinia. A careful plan. A slow plan. A plan made by a man who had watched someone move fast and seen what fast costs. Step by step. The quaestorship. Then back to Rome. Then build. Slowly. At the right pace. Understanding the pace before moving. He had a plan. He looks at the desk. He thinks, the plan still works. He thinks, I am the same man I was. He thinks, the land commission is still working. He thinks, the law is still there. He thinks, the people who came from half a day away to sleep in the forum are still there. Their fields are still there. The numbers are still right. He thinks, Tiberius moved too fast. He thinks, I will not move too fast. He thinks, I need to understand what too fast means. He goes to the window. The forum is down there in the dark. He cannot see it from here. He knows the direction. He thinks about the forum. He has known the forum since he was a boy. He came with his mother. He came with Tiberius. He came alone. He has been watching the forum for 20 years. The forum is the place where what happens in Rome becomes visible. The visible place of the invisible thing. He looks in the direction of the forum. He turns. He goes to the desk. He sits down. He looks at the scrolls. He picks one up. He does not read immediately. He holds it. He thinks, someone has to sit here. He has been thinking this since Sardinia. The whole crossing. The whole ride from Ostia. Someone has to sit at the desk. Someone has to do the work. Someone has to stand at the rostra and read the law. He is 20 years old. He has a plan. He will not move too fast. He will move at the right speed. He thinks about what the right speed means. Not too fast like Tiberius. Not too slow like the Senate. There is a speed in between. He does not know yet what it is. He will find it. He thinks about what Tiberius built. Tiberius built a law. He built a commission. He built a relationship with the assembly. He built an argument about what the assembly could do. He also built a precedent that went both ways. He showed that a tribune could be removed. He showed that the assembly was powerful. He showed that a popular man could push through custom. These things are all true. They are all still true. Tiberius is dead. The things he showed are not. Gaius thinks about these things. He thinks about the assembly. He had been in the forum the day of the third reading. He had been at the back. He had watched the vote. He had watched the 18th tribe. He had watched Octavius walk. He had watched the forum make a sound after. He is 20 years old and he has been watching the forum since he was a boy. He knows what the forum sounds like. He knows the difference between the sounds. The sound the forum made after the 18th tribe was a sound he had not heard before. He filed it. He has been carrying it since spring. He thinks, I need to understand that sound. He thinks, the sound was the assembly discovering what it could do. He thinks, I need to be at the rostra when the assembly needs to discover something else. He goes to the window. The forum is down there somewhere. He knows the direction. He turns. He goes to the desk. He sits. He opens the scroll. He begins to read. Writer's note. I do not read the Capitoline as a battle. I read it as 11 minutes. A bench leg is not a sword. A toga over the head is not armor. 300 men did not die in battle. They died in a space where the rules had already been broken. The breaking happened in the spring. In October the breaking became visible. I watch Gaius sit at his brother's desk. He is 20 years old. He has a plan. He will not move too fast. He moves too fast. He will be dead in 9 years. Running on his own feet. The same city. A different hill. He does not know this yet. He opens the scroll. Next time, Sardinia. 9 years. The letter arrives at dawn.